We in northern Nigeria, wallahi, we are not going to forget. This, you see this? It is nothing. It is nothing. If you like, go to the house of every elite in northern Nigeria, pick their first sons and daughters, give them appointments. We would not forget. And that's not going to make the APC and the Tinubu administration get sympathy votes from northern Nigeria. We are saying...
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video, a Nothing You has dropped a very message that's shaking the political space, especially for Tinubu and APC. He says, and I quote, "If you like, upon IBB's son, upon Buhari's son, it won't change anything. Northerners are suffering and we will not forget." He didn't stop there. He blasted the Tinubu government for trying to prank Nigerians again by giving appointment to already wealthy families, thinking they will win back the North. According to him, the North has suffered enough. People who never begged before are now begging for 5K just to survive. They even mocked the renaming of university after Buhari, saying it is a nice gesture. But he won't end Tinubu's sympathy vote in the North in 2027. He warns that even if Tinubu appoints the sons and daughters of every Northern elite, they still won't forget the hunger, the pain, and the neglect. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
Top of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this meets you well. First and foremost, the Tinubu administration think they are just going to come and prank Nigerians again by giving the likes of IBB's son appointment. If you like, give Buhari's son appointment. You are giving individuals that are already made appointment, and you think it's going to make us forget. No, northern Nigeria is not going to forget. We have suffered, we are still suffering, and we are the only individuals that know what we are going through. So giving these appointments is nothing. Renaming a university after the former president, oh wow, that's actually a good thing, but that is not going to get you sympathy votes from northern Nigeria. Never. Because we know what you've done to us, and the Tinubu administration have put us in. See, people, when Okufi beg you for 5K before, they go beg you for 5K now. People that were able to feed themselves and their family are unable to feed themselves and their family right now. Why? Because of the stringent conditions that have been imposed by this government on Nigerians. We in northern Nigeria, wallahi, we are not going to forget. This, you see this? It is nothing. It is nothing. If you like, go to the house of every elite in northern Nigeria, pick their first sons and daughters, give them appointments. We would not forget. And that's not going to make the APC and the Tinubu administration get sympathy votes from northern Nigeria. We are saying no to that this time around. No. So continue giving the appointments. Continue giving the appointment. Continue doing what you feel is better for you and what is going to save your administration come 2027. But we are not going to forget. We will never forget, because we know the injury that your government has imposed on every Nigerian, not even northerners. And to all Nigerians, I would always say this: if you like, allow religion to come and play a role again. To all Nigerians, if you like, allow tribe or anything to come and play a role again. This is the time for us to come together and make sure we do the right thing by putting the right individuals in office. I don't care who. Let the person be accountable. Let the person come in and change the current status quo of the suffering we are in this country. Enough is enough. And that is just it. So if the Tinubu administration go and give appointment to every single son of every elite in northern Nigeria. The good thing is now there is a huge difference between the elites and we, the common citizens in northern Nigeria. There is a huge difference, and even the elites know that there is suffering in the land. Peace and love. We go just there, they fold our hands, we go see as where this thing won't carry us go. But you see this 2027, we are in July already. Before you know it is 2026 and 2027. And that's where the real game is going to be played. Peace and love, man.
Many of you think I am not supporting Tinubu because I have a personal hatred for him. I cannot hate somebody who is better than me 100,000 times, who is better than my family and my generation. I can't hate such kind of person. But what I hate is to see Nigeria to turn to North Korea. I don't want to see Nigeria governed by one man. I don't want Nigeria to turn to one-party government. It is a very big risk for democracy. And for the love I have for democracy, I will preach against Tinubu re-election from today till 2027, and to see that Tinubu did not get re-elected. I will contribute to my quote. Many of you don't know the risk to get Tinubu re-elected. For those of you that stay in Lagos, you know the kind of government Tinubu operate in Lagos. Since he left office in 2007, anybody that comes to Lagos, either councillor, chairman, House of Assembly member, or governor, or senator, or House of Reps, Tinubu must approve that person, which is very bad for our democracy. Imagine now, Tinubu will not decide who will become the governor of your state. And if the governor of your state misbehave, he will remove you, and the House of Assembly, House of Representatives, and Senator will just knock armor without any question. Many of you don't know, if Nigeria truly know what is coming for them beyond 2027, they will stop whatever thing they are doing to make sure that Tinubu left office in 2027. It's not just about 2027. If Tinubu get re-election in 2027, the president that will come in 2031 is Tinubu that is going to assign the president. The senator of your state, of your region, of your senatorial district, it is Tinubu that is going to choose for you. Even the House of your assembly, the local government there, that's why you approve local government autonomies. Any leader of your state, Tinubu is going to decide for them. And that is very bad. You don't know. Nigeria will turn to North Korea. And if people are not careful, keep on busy with your tribalism, your regionalism, and religion, this thing. I am not going against Tinubu because of anything, but because of the threat he has against our democracy. You get the point now? So Nigeria, you better wake up. Tinubu re-election is not just about development. It is about the hate towards our life. It is about the risk. You don't know. You soon know. You don't know who is Jagaba, right? Go Lagos. I spent almost my life in Lagos State, so I know how it works there. So Nigeria need to wake up beyond whatever you are seeing now. Whatever person that comes out to face Tinubu in 2027, I don't know who that person may be, but support that person ahead of Tinubu. That is all I have to tell you. Whether it's Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar or Kwankwaso, just support that person. If that person misbehave, by 2031 we'll also face that person. But if you allow Tinubu to exist 2027, with the kind of Senate president we have, Tinubu may push for third time and nothing will happen. They will just approve it. We are never ready. Whenever we are ready, we will read from it. Autocratic, no longer democratic.
If APC government wahala never touch you for inside this country, Nigeria. If APC government wahala never touch you for inside this country, Nigeria. That means they wear helmet, they sleep. This our Hausa brother, Mr. Gairus, is calling on Nigerian Christians from the east, west, north, and south. Say it is time for all Nigerians to come together as a unity, as a unified Nigeria, and form one big alliance, one big political party to unseat Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu come the year 2027. Say the goal is to come together, form one big political party, and remove Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu from office in the year 2027. I don't look myself, I can't laugh, say. He reached Tinubu turn. Hausa people can't understand, say, it is important to form unity or to form alliance. Anyway, Nigeria matter, they almost detire me. Make on listen to our Hausa brother.
Especially being from the north. 19 states from the north, including Christian brothers and Muslims. I want us to take care of ourselves and study something. We are Nigerians, not anything, but the unity first. Unity first before any other things. If you don't have a unity, there's nothing we can go. So we need unity on this country. Because the present government, President President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, is only making appointment on 6 states only, southwest state, which in Nigeria we have 36 states. So 30 states, including Abuja, were away from the appointment. The appointment only take one side. Check the appointment and check how since it comes. Is that how we are going to continue? 2027, my brothers, let us form a rule party that we can be able to offset this man. Forget about party. Even if APC give him, I'm APC myself, no problem. But let us take a party that we can be able to defeat him, and let us bring somebody whom is tested and trust, and everywhere they receive, including the South, they have a fans. We cannot take somebody who doesn't have a fans and you expect you win a result. We take somebody who is tested, whom people know, he's popular, he has contested before, then we just now follow and take him as a candidate. In any party, we can score through and we offset this one out. Because we cannot, is the unity of Nigeria. Well, I am Nigerian. I don't care whether I'm from the north or from where. What after is the unity of Nigeria. We have lost that unity because this appointment is going for only 6 states. So people know and people understand. And both of us will vote. Why are we treated like this? So we thank him and we wish him the best for 2027. Then let us first now set ready for 2027. We bring a candidate who is well received to the Nigerian and who can bring the unity of Nigeria, because we lost the unity as I'm talking to you. We lost the unity. Everything is from the only 6 states. Is that how we are going to say? From the southwest? Well, we are 36 states. including Abuja 37, so 31, 0. So this thing we cannot accept it, but 2027 our vote will determine where we are going. We don't care. Police or soldier, if you like, carry all air from here to anywhere. Carry a shield, carry all artillery, carry gombite, all put. We will vote whom we need to vote.
You decide the person you can contest?
No, we cannot be able to make sure the person for now, but we are the person who is tested, well-known and popular. I don't want to make sure the person is well-known and tested and popular as the person we are going to vote. We can't vote this thing again. We know all Nigerians. I have so many friends from this. I have many people from the south. The appointment is not even from the south, or from the east, or from right from the north. It's only for 6 states. The cheating is too much, and we cannot take it any longer. And we don't go for protest. We don't go for anything. Please put your voter card on your pocket. Don't lose it, and don't go for protest where police can just chase you out. Please, thank you.
So what is your last message?
My last message is to Nigeria. We have to come together and group ourselves as a group. We are all Nigeria. Then we stand and let us work together. We remain in one Nigeria. And I pray for Nigeria, a Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we are still in Nigeria. And nobody will share us. And nobody will bring war. Inshallah, we remain together.
Concluded this meeting. What is it all about? What do you want to achieve?
Well, it's a meeting of Northerners. Specifically to discuss as a family problems bedeviling the North and how to look for solutions to it, how to prepare for the oncoming election, to see to the fact that our interests, we elect only somebody who has the interests of the North at heart and who will address the challenges facing the North. Because as it is, we are of the opinion that this government has no interest in solving problems bedeviling the North, be it infrastructure, be it peace, be it security. So we have to take the ball in our hands and work towards achieving solutions to our problems.
So what are the resolutions from this meeting?
Well, the solution is that we should go out and continue to organize Northerners, continue to pass on the messages that we've spoken here today, so that our people from top to bottom will be united and take a single position in the coming election.
What is the position of the stakeholder with regards to ADC as opposition coalition platform for 2027 election?
Well, the truth of the matter is that we started out as what we call a consultative forum for northern politicians, but as the momentum was going on, it appeared that the whole of the North have decided that they will join ADC. So now the distinction between what the National Political Consultative Group is and the ADC has blurred. So our people have encouraged us, have directed us, and have mandated us to organize ourselves in the manner that we will deliver whatever we want through the ADC.
Is the North stakeholders willing to support the Northern to succeed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2027?
The ADC, as a political party, is a party that is founded on democratic principles. We are going to go to congresses and conventions to elect our representatives at the election. And whoever emerges, be it North, South, Central, West, whoever emerges at either the congresses or at the convention, ADC will support it, and the Northern Political Consultative Group will support that person.
Sir, there is a fear.
I know in Nigeria, if you are in Nigeria, you know the challenges facing the North. There's insecurity, there's economic deprivation, there's marginalization, there's everything that is designed to humble us, designed to disintegrate us, designed to underdevelop us.
So there is a fear that the votes don't count. And so effort by the coalition is an exercise in futility.
There's nobody in ADC leadership or rank and file that believes that votes do not count. Votes do count. And we are going to make sure that votes do count. This election, votes will count. I tell you, forget about the fact that votes will not count. APC is a party of Nigerians, ADC is one. Whatever techniques, whatever malicious activity they throw at us will counter it effectively. And we'll counter everything they achieve.
Thank you so much. It's great.
Jump, or were you pushed?
I jumped. I went into the position with very high expectations. I desperately hoped that President Tinubu would be successful. I went in there to work for him and for Nigeria. And I believe that we could work. I was made to understand by the vice president, who was the catalyst to my going there, that there was space to work, there was a job to be done, and I knew, having campaigned so vigorously for 8 years and against the incompetence and the damage which President Buhari did, that his successor will also push the country into the deep end and promised something close to a revolution, as President Tinubu was going to follow through and really take Nigerians through the revolution and change it, at least in his first term. So I went in there with high spirits, and unfortunately it didn't work out.
Well, I mean, let's get into a little more detail, because I was going to ask you what was it like working at that level, because that's a very high level. I mean, special advisor. I'm wondering what your job as special advisor on political affairs entails, and whether your advice was actually being taken.
On paper, it was a great job. I mean, it was a huge responsibility to be the political advisor to a president in the office of the vice president. Was an enormously important job on paper, but it depends on if it's actually actualized in real life. It wasn't. It was very frustrating. Are
you saying that they were not listening to you, or there was never any opportunity to actually exercise the role that you were put there to play?
There was really. You have to understand the structure of the Nigerian presidency has been virtually the same for the last maybe since 1999, maybe even during the military times. The number two is always at a certain disadvantage. So much of what the number two does depends on the chemistry between one and two, the configuration, the power dimensions, the nature of the cliques around the president. So much depends on what the number one does. And if the president doesn't really feel that the office of the vice president is not central to his success or useful, you just sit it out. We've seen that many times. And basically this is what I met and what I left behind. There wasn't much to do. I wasn't used to sitting idle. And there was a lot to be done. If I had been involved, I could have offered my humble advice or opinion, but I wasn't. And I couldn't just be collecting salaries and just sit down and do nothing.
Well, let me pick you up on what you were saying there, because there are all these reports floating around that the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, is being steadily and systematically isolated by the Tinubu ring or clique of supporters in the presidency. Is that a fact?
No, I didn't see any evidence.
But you said that it depended a lot, your job depended on the chemistry.
You're talking about my job. Now you're talking about the working relationship. We were talking about, did I do any serious work? Did I...
but I'm wondering why you didn't get to do that seriously.
And like I said, it's not peculiar to me. Many vice presidents, many people who had worked with vice presidents went through the same experience I went through.
Right, but you were suggesting that was possibly because sometimes the principal and his vice don't the chemistry isn't there. And I'm wondering if he was being pushed aside.
No, I think that there are two different things. The vice president, as an official recognized by the Constitution as the number two citizen, how busy he is, how active he is, what he does and what he doesn't do, substantially depends on the disposition of the president.
Right.
So that's a settled issue. And
irrespective of who it is, I mean, which administration.
I know Vice President Atiku's first time, he was incredibly busy. When they fell out, the second time he was virtually non-existent.
Right.
I also worked with another president whose vice president was idle for a substantial amount of time until the president died. And then that's Jonathan and Malam Umar. I think, to answer your question, the vice president's office is either busy or not busy. It entirely depends on the disposition of the president. I know that in their personal chemistry, this I know from the vice president. They have put the personal chemistry between the president and the vice president is excellent. I hear this from the vice president and I believe him, sometimes almost to a fault. Kashmir Shettima always says how great the president is and he's a good man, he means well for this country. And sometimes on one or two occasions I've said to him, but if he's so good, I mean, how is it that we see so many of the wrong things going on? But he would defend the president with his life. I know this for a fact. But it's the way it is set up. You also need to understand, Charles, the presidency is a lot more than the president and the vice president. There are aides, very powerful aides. There are other people who intervene. They can decide whether both of them work well or they don't work well. They can decide if the number 2 is active or not. They can decide if the number 1 is active. That's how powerful they are.
But you got along well with Kashim Shettima.
Absolutely.
So what did he say to you was the reason why you remained idle, why you weren't being used as you ought to be?
Well, like him, we wait our time. We wait for opportunity. We wait for someone to say, do something.
Right. So was he also pretty much
no, he was
sitting around most of the time?
No, I think in his own case, he filled up some space.
Right.
His own space. He did well. I think he represented this government well. He's an extremely intelligent and hardworking person and very loyal to the president. But that doesn't necessarily reflect on all of us. There were quite a number of absolutely brilliant people in the office. I have met some incredibly good people. And he's very good in headhunting. And on his side of the presidency, it's incredible the quality of people that he has there. It's unfortunate, however, that they're not being put to use.
You mean on the president's side?
The vice president.
Okay, the vice president.
I was just happened to be the first one to jump. Oh, I don't know whether I'll be the first one to jump.
Right.
But I was the one who said no. I got to do something better with my time and my life. There's a country to be fixed. And if I can't fix it, serving and working for this government, in this, what you call the cocoon, I can do it outside.
And of course, I mean, there's a lot of politics that floats around, I mean, these things, isn't there? I mean, is it true that you were appointed to give the Tinubu administration northern credibility, especially after a contentious election?
If there was, I wasn't aware of it. I like to believe that on my own merit, I deserve to be appointed advisor on political matters. I didn't need.
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Yeah, well, I didn't need an additional regional stamp to become an advisor. And I didn't see any sinister motive. People said, oh, they wanted to keep you quiet. Oh, they wanted to buy your voices and everything. I mean, I started that job, I think, when I was close to 69. I'm 70 now, so I know a little bit about.
Well, you look like a young man to me.
Oh, thank you. I knew what I was doing, and I can tell you that I didn't see any sinister motive or a trick involved in appointing me.
But you must have been quite disheartened, I mean, when you came out, having spent a considerable amount of your valuable time, in such a place, and much use wasn't being made of you. Because, I mean, I say this because you then came out and you've just subsequently written an open letter to the president. You suggested that the president has a closed-door style of leadership, is indifferent to complaints about ethnic bias in appointments, and frequently runs the country from abroad whilst attending to personal matters. And you say that he's become something of an isolated leader heading an insular administration. I mean, that sounds pretty strong.
Well, it would have been easier if it was just about me. Am I busy? Am I lazy? Am I just going there to the villa to feel good? I have a nice title. I'm advisor to the president. If it was all about me, quite possibly I would have stayed longer. But I felt I could have been a lot more useful to the country and to the administration. I believe also, I don't like for this thing to sound boastful. I believe I had something to offer.
Indeed.
Because the reason why they asked me to go there, not to sit idle and to watch a lot of things going wrong. You don't have an opportunity to fix them. You don't have an opportunity to engage the president, who has all the powers to be engaged. You don't have any channel. I saw the vice president virtually every day, working day. We talked, we discussed the country. But Nigeria requires a lot more than talking with the vice president.
But did you have an opportunity to meet the president?
No, I didn't.
For your entire time there?
No, I think I met him, I saw him 3 times in the mosque in the villa. And we sort of shook hands. There's a mosque in the villa, so you would see. But I never had a chance to sit down with President Tinubu.
And why do you think that was the case?
I honestly don't know. I think I think part of the problem is that he never really had time for people like us.
People like you? I mean, you were a special advisor.
Yeah. I'm not sure he had time for a lot of the people working for him. You quoted part of the letter that I wrote to him. I used the language very carefully. Said it was insular, isolated. That's not a lazy, the words you use casually. The president really is genuinely isolated. Whether it's by choice or by circumstances we don't understand, the bottom line is he ought to be available to a lot more of the people that he has trusted, either to run ministries or departments or to advise him. And he isn't. And that's a problem for the country, not so much for him. But it's a lot, because the president of Nigeria is a hugely powerful person. And
but also there's a lot of responsibility
on his shoulders.
Absolutely.
So if he's not going to look for solutions to problems from people that he had appointed, there are only 2 options that are left. Is he getting advice from the wrong people? Or is he getting no advice at all? And there are other issues that I raised in my letter. I said somehow, I just think when I use the word insular, it really was about, when you hear people close to him speak about Nigeria, it's as if we live in 2 different worlds. And that is the most frustrating thing for me. We would leave the villa, we would go home. We would watch real people, and sometimes we would drive around, we go home, we mix with poor people. We knew how desperate the country is, how desperately life is, difficult life is, the insecurity level, how high it is. People are losing hope, asking what is the value of this democracy. And sometimes they say, what are you doing there? We thought with people like you, we wouldn't be seeing some of these things. At least, are you guys really advising the president about some of these things? And it all amounts to this idea that the president is either not interested in getting advice, or is getting advice from the people that he hasn't appointed officially to give him advice. Either way, when I use those words, insular and isolated, very carefully, because that's exactly how I read it. I believe if President Tinubu was more open to suggestions and advice, and if he has higher quality of people handling sensitive positions for him, and he makes himself available to them and talk to him and tells them, they tell him what they think, I think the country will be better.
So are you going to join the new coalition that's being talked about?
At this stage, no. And I hope even in the future, I doubt it. I have very serious misgivings about all this talk about coalitions and all this jumping from one place to another one. I think these are signs of just how degenerated the political process has become. And it's a very sad thing for Nigeria today, as we speak, a country that has never faced more problems than we have, that its leadership entirely, the whole spectrum of leadership, is all running around looking for places to continue to run the country aground.
Well, I think your term, so many people described it well. I mean, it's a very insular, inward-looking group that just sort of talk to themselves.
The politicians.
That's the impression, people have.
The entire politicians, all of them.
I mean, it's extraordinary.
Without any difference. Everyone, those in government, those trying to get into the government, those jumping guns and ship, and those looking for coalitions, the whole lot. I mean, you can count the number of politicians who are literally holding the country to ransom. It's in political science, we call it state capture. There are not more than 2,000 Nigerians who are running this country politically. And it's all about them.
It's extraordinary.
It's really all about them.
And hearing it from someone like yourself, who not only achieved tremendous prominence, I mean, in your own career, I mean, permanent secretary and all the rest of it, I mean, spokesman of one very powerful, forum, the Northern Elders Forum, special advisor to the presidency. I mean, it's quite worrying.
It is worrying more for the country because the way we are headed, it's going to be either we have a choice between the bad and the worse. There's absolutely no difference. They have no shame. I'm sorry to use this word. Our politicians have no shame. And you leave this party today, and tomorrow you move into another one. And if someone were to ask you, well, what has changed? The only thing that has changed is your party. You're the same person.
Absolutely.
Loving with the same kind of people. And the only people who you have no respect for is 99.9% of Nigerians. You think it's a game. So it's all about them. It's all about keeping power or getting the power you lost. And it's all about milking the country. And so long as these guys are going to continue to be the people who determine the fate of this country, I'm afraid we're going to continue going downwards.
Is that why your advice to the president at the top of the pecking order, if you like, of sort of the political structure is to step aside and not seek re-election in 2027?
Absolutely. I honestly and sincerely believed that if I had sat down with President Tinubu before I left, that is what I would have said to him. I would have said to him, President Tinubu, I think you achieved a lifetime ambition. It was lifetime. He had done great things to become president. He had done great things to make other presidents. It had worked. It hadn't worked in the past. Finally, it worked. He had done many things for this country. The best thing he can do is not to run in for 2027. The best thing he can do now is to look around, get good people, to find younger people, 50 people in their 40s and 50s, 60s, people with a lot of experience. They exist. People with passion and anger in them and the zeal to actually rebuild this country, to give it a future and step aside. He can do that with his party. The moment the APC brings out a Nigerian who is in their 40s, in his 40s, believe me, other parties will do the same thing. Because no presidential candidate in his 80s or late 70s is going to start contesting for the presidency with somebody in his 40s. It has happened before, and we need to begin to show some respect for the young Nigerians. We have messed up their country and our grandchildren. We've messed up their country enough. And we need to have some faith in younger Nigerians. They can fix this country. They can.
And that suggestion you made earlier, which was that you think the president should not run again in 2027, is that a view that is held fairly widely amongst the circles that you move around in?
No. I think the reason why people don't even dare think that is because they think there's nothing that's going to stop President Tinubu from running. It doesn't matter what the merit of this alternative is. People see, even if he doesn't want to run, some people will make him run for their own sake.
But what about the North? I mean, of whom you were spokesman of a considerable chunk for a while. I mean, does the North... You said they would reveal their position on the 2027 presidency in the next few months. I mean, how is that progressing?
I think it's progressing well. I happen to know that there's a huge amount of interest in what happens in 2027. There are a huge amount of expectation that something must change. There is interest in getting perhaps new thinking, new strategies. And there's a lot of determination not to repeat the same mistakes. People's consciousness is rising. It's a combination of the suffering between poverty and insecurity, and the idea that people think the North just exists as voters, not as citizens entitled to all the good things that happens to everybody. It's the North. Don't worry about it. When it comes to elections, we know what to do with them. People are quite angry, very, very angry. So there are two things. President Tinubu can choose to run or not to run. And in my letter, I said, if you run, you can win. You can win. But I don't see any value. What you will do is you are going to continue to preserve failure and disaster. If you fail and you lose, your successor is going to wipe out everything you did in the last 4 years, within the first 1 month. That is the level of bitterness that exists between this small cycle of politicians. They hate each other. They are together only because they all have to gang up together. They don't want to be accountable for what they did while they were in power. The only way they can remain safe and in their homes is if they are in or near power. They hate each other, but they are forced to stay together. So it's virtually about 2,000-3,000 people against every Nigerian. And they're playing the ethnic card. They're telling all Nigerians it's North and South. There's no such thing as North and South anymore. The problems of the Northerner is the problem of the person in the South. And there's no part of the country known that can actually say we can get a presidency now that is ours. Even the Southwest, in spite of what appears to be a favorable disposition towards it, the Southwest cannot claim Tinubu.
So nobody can speak monolithically about the North?
No, nobody should speak monolithically about anybody. There are just two classes of Nigerians. The politicians who think they can continue to fool Nigerians and the rest of us. That's basically what it is. Just look at it.
Some would say that you were part of that group, yes, but just a few days.
I admit I was working for some politicians, but I was working for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who I believed came to power, even if it was a mistake. When he said on the 29th of May, 2023, the subsidy is gone. I mean, like a lot of other people, I said, this is incredible. We all knew the subsidy had to go. But if he had the courage, later, of course, he said it was an inspiration, whatever. If he had the courage to say, I'm removing the subsidy, you must say, we're dealing with the revolutionary here. I just wish that fire, that inspiration, had been sustained all through. And I had no doubt, I had no qualms about joining him. I was worried because a lot of people said to him, don't do it. Said to me, don't do it. Don't go there. But a voice inside me said, no. I think maybe we are on the verge of something fundamental. We can change the way this country works. And that's why I went in. And I came out because I realized there was no fire.
And did you find some elements of good leadership in President Tinubu? Was he at some level a progressive leader, as many who knew him when he was governor of Lagos State seem to think?
My definition of a good leader would be a leader who has real vision, not just to become president, but to use that presidency to fundamentally change those things that needed to be changed. Some of them very difficult. Sustain that change, lay the foundations of that change beyond the time that you are in power. So the power is not just an end in itself. It's about changing lives. That's my vision of a good president. I saw a man who labored really hard, worked very, very hard to become a president, who started on his first day by saying, get ready, everybody, put your belts on. We're in for some turbulence, but in the end, you all thank me. And then nothing. We went back to normal.
So it was an anticlimax, basically.
It's an anticlimax which we shouldn't have at a time of such time. In the economic management, in managing security, in managing national coexistence. I didn't see the kind of change that we required by 2023, after President Buhari left this country wrecked completely. We needed a president who would really shake Nigeria and say to Nigerians, listen, we've come from a very difficult journey, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Have faith in me. I'm going to do this. But he then creates an environment that makes it doable. Then he engages Nigerians. He doesn't just send out press releases. He has an engagement strategy. He talks to the people. He meets the people. I don't know when the last time President Tinubu visited the North. I can't even remember. I've just mentioned the North or the Southeast or whatever, except for campaigning. Look at the Southeast. The Southeast has been virtually just part of Nigeria. Nobody is thinking about the fact that you need to reintegrate the Southeast. It's a vital part of Nigeria. There's no political thinking in this administration. You need to rebuild the trust and the confidence of Nigerians in each other. If this country is going to survive, we must talk this business of, okay, these people are disposable, these people are dispensable. We need to reunite this country. We need to give young people hope. We need to let them know that this country actually is theirs and that they can live in a country that is safe, in a country that progresses, a country that will give them some hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We're not in that. That's why I'm hoping that people will rise against the political class now. We need change, and it can happen. We did this in 2020. We don't have all the time to go back, but maybe some other time. But in 2020, 2012, 2013, 2014, when a lot of Nigerians thought it was impossible, I'm proud to say I was part of the team that did it. We showed it was possible to defeat an incumbent government. We showed it was possible to actually remove a government that was incompetent, that allowed Boko Haram to mess us up, that had allowed corruption to run away with everything. And we put Buhari, we thought Buhari was going to be the Messiah. We were wrong. But at least it was done. We can't change this country, and we need to take that lesson.
Okay.